I had a dream that somebody that had caused me like trauma earlier on in my life, like it was really bad, like apologized in like a therapy script way. And I was just like, well, I acknowledge that it looks like you're trying, even though, like, in the back of my mind, I was like, I don't trust it. And I was still kind of like shutting them out because it's just like, you apologizing now isn't going to do me much good because, you can't apologize after I already remove you from my space, my life, and all of that shit. Because, like, at this point, it's too late. Like, I always try beforehand. Like, beyond that, there's nothing else I can do. If you are not able to communicate properly when I'm trying to, like, tell you what the deal is, and even if I can't fully get it out, you're not attempting to understand. It's just not gonna fucking work. So, at this point, if you're one of those people that is still stalking me, you might want to, before you get triggered. Anyways, but it made me kind of like remember, I've been like reliving some past stuff. It's been like coming back up to the surface, and I'm like connecting dots and like making everything make sense. And so I remember an interaction that I had back from high school where I actually used to dress like feminine and masculine back then, like as best as I could, like flip flop between the two. And one of the days that I was dressed like more masculine, I almost ran into this girl when we was both walking up to like the lunch line. And so when I realized that like we almost bumped into each other, I take like a big step back and then kind of like bow and like lead her on forward. And the way that she fucking giggled, she like covered her mouth and giggled. And at that point, it was so fucking cute. Like, I had never had such a small interaction with anyone before or since that had touched my heart the way that just that little bit did. And I never saw her again after that. But like, it was in my head for like ever. But it made me like think a lot more. But it made me think about a lot of stuff that I was going through at the time to like remember this. And I was in a very, very Christian family at the time. So being anything other than straight was a no go. And I already had too much other shit. Like, I'm the oldest daughter, parentified oldest daughter of a whole bunch of other kids. Well, maybe not a whole bunch, but like a few other kids. And so, like, that was just not something that I could fit into the condemnation of every other thing because I was almost actually forced to give up anime at one point entirely. Like, all of my manga books, all of my DVDs, watching the show, and listening to anything other than fucking Christian music. And I had that trauma way before I hit high school. And so to like go through all of that and then to have like these feelings like hit me like that, I literally had to throw it in the vault and just be like, just I'm just gonna stay away from it. But like as I realized that apologies aren't enough. Apologies aren't enough. And even if you hear whatever it is that you need to hear. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna feel differently and be like, oh my God, come back into my life. No, 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 no. Um, I'm not gonna do that. So, yeah, it just really made me think like, when you traumatize somebody, like, that's, you can apologize all you want, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna still be able to interact with them the same as you would have if you had just acknowledged your wrongdoings at the time, or at least made an attempt to understand where the other person was coming from, or whatever the case is. Because trauma, like, can really completely change the trajectory of your life. Like, I could have literally been dating other girls instead of dealing with these stupid ass boys, and I couldn't because I was too deep in a fucking cult like system of religion, which has been going on too long anyways. Like, this fucking religion controls the entire fucking world, and it has for too damn long. For ages. And it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. But yeah, I just remembered that interaction, and I was like, it's funny because the first time, like, this is my first time like living outside of like any other people being in my space besides my kids. And the first thing that I thought was that if I wanted to, I could like girls without having to feel like anybody was talking shit or judging me behind my back, or like hearing that like telepathic gossip that comes through when you're still interacting with people. Because like at the time I was still kind of like talking to certain people and stuff, and I already like could hear what they would say if they found out, or like was like, oh well, she like switched it up or whatever the case was. Like, no, been like this. I just stuffed it down. Even though like I never actually liked any other girls like that before. Yeah. But either way, I was just like, yeah, I can't, if I can't be, just allow myself to be, just to be, however the fuck I come out, however the fuck I feel, then I don't really want to be around those people. I really don't. And if I have to feel like they're gonna talk shit behind my back because I'd actually had to witness that type of shit. Like if somebody was spending too much time with a friend, then it would be misconstrued as something like that. And it was just like, and the like gossip just from the speculations was just too much to like be around and to listen to. And even outside of like things like that, gossip surrounding just like the most trivial things was just, it's exhausting to listen to hear, and to pretend like you just don't hear it. It was like way too much. So yeah, it definitely made me realize that it's much easier to be by yourself than it is to be around people who you can't fully be yourself around. So yeah, anyway, if you made it this far, happy Pride Month, everybody. But yeah, I figured I would just share that. I'm not necessarily going to label myself, but I'm going to allow myself to be and feel however the fuck I am and feel.